sure you spell Earp's name wrong. Spell it E-R-B, not E-A-R-P.
Yes, Mr. Dameron.
Shut up. A bully boy gunslinger from Kansas has been hired to wear a star in our city. This fella, Earp, has just attacked 2 honest cowboys and thrown them into jail for some harmless high spirits on Allen Street. How long will the honest cowboys of Pima County allow these outrages to go on?
Mr. Cameron?
My name is Dameron. Can you read or spell?
Very well, Mr. Dameron. My name is Earp, E-A-R-P, not E-R-B. And for your information, these honest cowboys were Clanton men. They got drunk and shut up Allen Street.
I'm not afraid of you and your guns. I'm a newspaper man, and I'll tell you something.
Go ahead.
Those cowboys got drunk on puka. You know what puka is?
Yeah, it's a Mexican drink.
Yes. And this newspaper happens to know that sutlers from the Indian Bureau are peddling the stuff. 2 of them are over in the Mexican Quarter.
Well, I didn't know that.
You know it now.
And I'll catch up to them. That's my job. And someday your lies are going to catch up to you.
The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp, starring Hugh O'Brien.
Tombstone had 2 newspapers, the Nugget and the Epitaph. The Nugget was the tool of the 10% ring and hated Wyatt Earp, but the Epitaph printed the truth and made journalistic history. Wyatt had assumed that even though it opposed him, the Nugget would be fair in routine dealings. But he learned that very few people in Tombstone were fair about anything.
All right, friends, now step up here and let's get a little bit of this polka. Yes, sir, friends, a little bit of polka's worth a whole quart of whiskey. Thank you very much. It's a drink for men, for real men. Come on up here and get your whiskey. Let's go,
Hold it. Hand up a cup of that.
Is it too strong, Johnny Law?
You boys got a license?
No, sir, we don't.
You know there's a law against selling liquor without a license? You're under arrest.
We're just trying to pick up a little eating money until Mr. Clum gets here.
Who's Mr. Clum?
Well, he used to be the Indian agent over at the San Carlos Indian Reservation. That's where the Apaches are, and he quit to start a newspaper in Tucson.
Yeah, and then he had to sell out, and he's headed here.
To start a paper?
Well, we don't know, but he'll start something. He's a real man.
Oh, he sure is. Me and Shorty figure he'll get us jobs here.
He's a newspaper man, huh? I'd kind of like to talk to him before he hits Tombstone.
Oh, well, me and Dave, we know the trail real good. We can show you.
Oh, we sure do.
You boys are still under arrest, remember?
Well, guiding you is a lot better than sitting in jail, right, Shorty?
That's right, Dave.
You boys got horses?
Oh, yes, sir, we do.
Oh, we got 2 of them.
Let's go. Hold it. Leave that here.
There's a rider coming, and fast. Clum. Howdy.
Shorty. Hey. Marshal Earp, this here's Mr. Clum.
Howdy, Mr. Clum.
How are you, Marshal?
I can talk to you for a spell. Why don't we sit a while in the shade?
All right, Marshal.
This ruffian Earp then allowed the sutlers to escape the toils of the law. In fact, he was last seen riding the Tucson Trail with the puka peddling miscreants. Puka peddling miscreants. Good.
Anyway, that's about it, Mr. Clum. Selling liquor without a license, only a misdemeanor, but the Nugget will blow it up into a big holler and try to embarrass me.
Yeah. Shorty and Dave aren't bad men, though, Marshal. Matter of fact, they're the only honest sutlers I found in the entire Indian Bureau.
Well, I just can't let them off scot-free.
Oh, no, of course they gotta go to jail, that's for sure. What do you say, about 10 days?
Well, now, that sounds reasonable.
Shorty! Dave, come here.
Yes, sir, Mr. Clum.
You boys gotta go to jail for 10 days.
All right.
Well, how about getting us a job when we get out?
Well, I'll find something to do around Prescott or Tombstone. And you can work for me there, okay?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Clum.
Yeah, thanks. Well, like I said, Marshal, they don't come no better. Right, Shorty?
That's right.
You know, Marshal, I still don't know why you want to do battle with that bunch of pirates in Tombstone.
Why did you?
Don't you know that half the Arizona Territory is in the hands of renegades?
I'm beginning to find that out.
You ought to try printing an honest newspaper sometime. Like I did in Tucson, they almost busted me.
Well, the 10% ring in Tombstone isn't quite that powerful.
Powerful enough. Old man Clanton's a local boss. Did you ever meet him?
Several times.
Or didn't he scare you?
Mr. Clem, if a lawman doesn't live with fear, he sold himself out. Now, what we need in Tombstone is a real frightened newspaper editor.
Well, I'm frightened enough, Marshal, but no thanks. I've served my time.
Well, all I ask you is to take a look at one issue of the Nugget.
Fair enough. No newspaper can be as bad as you paint that one to be. Wyatt, have you seen that paragraph? There. That's criminal libel. You ought to arrest that man.
Dr. Halliday, what do you think?
Jail's too easy. I'll pay Dameron a visit.
Well, wait a minute. I think I'll take Mr. Clem's advice. I'll arrest Dameron.
Wait a minute, Wyatt. Make this a federal case. This newspaper's got subscribers in New Mexico and Colorado as well.
If he uses any bad language, add that to the charges.
Go on.
You made the mistake of your life, young man.
Won't be the first time.
How long do you expect to hold him, Wyatt?
Not long. The lawyer's late now. It's probably him.
Which one of you is Earp?
Neither of us.
I mean Earp, Wyatt Earp. I understand you've arrested Mr. Dameron on some trumped-up charge.
Well, sir, the charge is criminal libel. Are you here to put up bail?
Naturally.
$500.
500? Preposterous. Did Judge Griscom set the bond?
No, sir, I did. It's a federal offense.
Who says so?
I do. I happen to be a newspaper man. The name is Clum.
Clum?
John P. Clum.
Oh, yes. I've heard of you. Huh. $500.
Furthermore, you have attacked the sacred freedom of the press. You think this is going to hush me up? Look, I will speak and I shall be heard.
Horace Greeley said that first.
And as for you, Drum or Plum...
The name is Clum.
Well, whatever your name is, you probably think you can start a newspaper here. Well, I dare you. I defy you. The Nugget will put you out of business in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, sir.
Mr. Dameron, it's late.
Easy, Mr. Clum. You just start another paper and put him out of business.
Oh, Wyatt, I couldn't raise the necessary capital.
All Mr. Clum needs is $3,000 to add to his own capital. Now, I'm sure we won't have any trouble raising that, but the big problem is trying to convince Mr. Clum that his newspaper would have the support of all the decent citizens in Tombstone.
And advertising support, too. Now, I can get the advertising if you men can get the money.
Well, we ought to be able to do that.
What about it, Mr. Clum?
Wyatt, you're new to Pima County and Tombstone. The Nugget has the solid backing of all the insiders. You're not asking me to just start a newspaper. You're asking me to go to war.
Well, I'm in it myself, sir.
Yes, I know, Wyatt.
Mr. Clum, listen to this. The Nugget hears that a renegade Indian agent who was erstwhile publisher of a dirty scandal sheet in Tucson has come to town with the intention of starting a newspaper. The Nugget's faithful readers will know how to deal with this corrupt Yankee sidewinder, John P. Clum. A good dose of tar and feathers and a ride on a rail
Let me see that, Miss Nellie. I don't know. This is incitement to riot. Wyatt, you ought to arrest this man again.
All right, Mr. Clum. I'll arrest him again. If you agree to start another newspaper.
By Joe, you got yourself a deal.
Good.
Now we're getting somewhere.
What are you going to call the paper, Mr. Clum?
Well, I don't know. This is Tombstone, and, well, every tombstone should have its epitaph.
The Tombstone Epitaph. I like that.
I do, too. It's a good one.
Duck, it looks like you can start collecting the money, and Wyatt, you and Fred can put Dameron back in jail again.
That'll be a pleasure.
Oh, no, it won't. There'll be trouble. This'll be war, you know.
I agree with Mr. White about the war. Who's going to enlarge my hospital? Hire me an assistant.
Well, the Citizen Safety Committee. Wells Fargo.
Miners.
The ranchers.
Why don't we sit down and make a list of possible
That's
donors?
a good idea. Start.
Boss says to give you 100 for advertising in the new paper.
Good. I knew we could depend on Gagan.
Well, waste of effort if you ask me.
How's that, Jim?
Well, Clum's shipping his press to Benson by train, ain't he?
Yeah.
Then it's got to be hauled by wagon over here, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, the talk is that it ain't never going to get to Tombstone.
Thanks, Jim. I depend on you as much as I do on your boss.
I checked Nellie's tip. Gonna have to guard that ore wagon all the way from Benson to Tombstone.
You're getting mighty careless in the use of that collective now.
Well, you're my deputy, aren't you? Where's that star I gave you? Come on. Put on your clothes and your guns.
For a newspaper man?
That's right. We need Mr. Clum. And the Epitaph. All right, then do it for me.
Who else is going?
There's Mr. Clum and Dr. Goodfellow.
Dr. Goodfellow, why?
Because he donated $250 to Mr. Clum's loan, that's why.
Well, I donated $300.
He was also donating his good gun hand.
Well, then I'll donate 2 gun hands. There ain't no MD's going to be superior to me.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Wait till I get my gun or I'll be killed.
no printing press. Ain't nothing but the driver and his whipping boy. This ought to be easy.
Think they've got a whole newspaper shop loaded on that wagon?
Uh-huh.
Old man Clanton said break it up. Good.
All right, boys. Let's go get it.
Wyatt, any sign of the Clanton crowd?
Not yet.
Old man Clanton's heart won't be in this fight. What would he do with a printing press?
That's just what I told Wyatt.
Get set, here they come. Remember, we let them stop the wagon and dismount. Then we shoot low to stampede their horses.
I hate to christen the Epitaph with blood, Wyatt. Maybe we can scare them off.
Too late. Hold tight, Mike.
We just want to bust up your freight.
Help yourself, Dongo. It's insured.
Now.
All right, Mike, let him roll.
Round up the horses, boys. We'll finish this in Tombstone.
That'll do it, Wyatt. Well, it'll have to do. Not a man in Tombstone had nerve enough to rent me a building.
Yeah, you won't need a building until the rainy season, John. By that time, you'll be able to build your own.
Use those printers of mine long about now. You don't suppose anything happened to them, do you?
No, they're probably over in one of the saloons getting themselves a cold beer. Take it easy.
I'm as jumpy as a cat in a bed of khaki. Now, let's get to work.
Mr. Earp.
Howdy, Miss Emma. Excuse me.
Sure, Wyatt. Marvin, give me a hand here. All right.
I haven't seen you since the day at the ranch.
Well, you wouldn't be seeing me now. Only I have a message for Mr. Clum.
Would you like to give it to him?
No, you tell him. Tell him to get out of town. Tell him we don't need another newspaper here.
Who says?
My papa says.
That does it, Marv. Thank you. All right. I didn't know you had a lady friend.
I don't. That's old man Clanton's daughter.
Oh?
She says you ought to get out of town. Well, that's how Clanton operates. Tries to scare you first.
Who's scaring you, boss?
Now, where have you two been?
Drank a little beer in that fine saloon across yonder.
I should have known. I'd like you to meet Wyatt Earp. Wyatt, this is Mr. Soren and Mr. Reppy, my printers.
Howdy.
With his whole staff, and he knows it. Come on, Rep, let's set up the press.
Wyatt, that's the way a newspaper gets born.
Want to strive some mistakes, huh?
This mule knocked the fella down, stole the carrots, and he had to chase him all the way back to town.
Gentlemen, I think we should start the epitaph off with a speech from our editor, Mr. John P. Clum. Now, they tell me that up San Carlos way, he controlled 5,000 Apaches by just his personal leadership. Mr. Clum?
Well, thank you, Miss Nellie. But 5,000 Apaches were Sunday school children alongside of some of the more notable citizens of Tombstone.
There's no justice, Rep. We gotta stay here while the boss has a good dinner over at Nellie Cashman's.
That's pretty, ain't it? Let's get out of here.
Let the other stuff go. Let's put down the press. I hope that time's covered. Yeah. Another box. Let's see if we can save the time. Where is the time? It's in that box. You know. Well, we can go outside. Yeah, let's get the press covered up, though. Right. Hey, boss. There's a boss. She's all ready, boss. All right, Mr. Rippy. Let her roll.
Clanton told you to wreck that press with crowbars and sledgehammers. All you do is start a little fire.
Old man Clanton and the boys got called out of town on more important business. Two of us couldn't do much.
What's more important than keeping Earp and Clum from printing another paper?
$10,000 in silver bullion on wagons heading for the Benson Depot.
Oh, I see.
Hey, the ink's a bit watery, boss. But here's the first copy.
Thank you, Irish. Wyatt, would you like to see what I was writing last night?
I'd be glad to. Truth crushed to earth shall rise again. The eternal years of God are hers. But error wounded, rise with pain, and dies among his worshippers.
That's lovely.
If the Tombstone Epitaph must someday end publication, its editor hopes the last word spoken of this newspaper shall be, it told the truth. Yes, in spite of suppression, terror, and death, we would wish that men remember the Epitaph tried always to tell the truth. To earn such a memory is always difficult. Truth is often concealed, twisted, tormented, and denied. But the Epitaph pledges that from now on...
Wyatt.
Yes, sir.
I just turned those settlers loose. Their time was up. Well, Dameron and a couple of gunslingers grabbed them in the birdcage bar.
I'll handle it. You stay here, sir.
Let me see that first edition. Ah, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
You men knew Clum at the San Carlos agency. You worked hand in glove with him.
What do you mean by that?
He was a thief. He stole money from the government and from the Indians.
Well, that's a lie. Right, Shorty?
That's right. He quit because he wouldn't stand for the graft.
I'm not arguing with jailbirds. You sign these affidavits or you take what's coming to you.
Let me see it.
Well, that's a parcel of lies.
It sure is, and we ain't gonna sign it. Right, Dave?
That's right.
It's your decision. All right, boys. Work 'em over.
Mr. Dameron tried to get us to sign this against Mr. Clum.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Clum's waiting for you boys to go to work for him.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah.
Now, see here, I've got some rights. Take your hands off me. I've got rights of my own private. Oh.
Now, you print that in that nugget.
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail. Oh, Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be